There is a law that moves unseen, yet it governs all that is seen. To one who knows it, nothing is withheld. To one who ignores it, everything seems a struggle. The world calls it luck, chance, or opportunity, but it is none of these. It is the law of command. Whatever you decree with faith, with conviction, with unwavering certainty, must appear in your life. The invisible substance of the universe awaits your word, just as a faithful servant awaits the order of its master. The first million, whether in gold, in influence, in joy, or in every good thing, is not a matter of toil and sweat. It is a matter of alignment, of speaking the word with power and expectation. You cannot gather riches while thinking poverty. You cannot call forth abundance while holding doubt. You must command, and the command must be rooted in the knowing that what you decree is already yours in the unseen, simply awaiting expression in the seen. Each word you utter is a seed. Some plant thorns, others plant roses. If you would command a harvest of wealth, you must cast seeds of wealth in thought, in word, in imagination. The mind that complains of lack multiplies lack. The mind that blesses increase multiplies increase. Speak not of limitation, for limitation is but a shadow born of fear. Instead, declare boldly, my supply is endless. My opportunities are limitless. My million comes to me quickly, easily, in perfect ways. A fortune may be hidden behind a door of your own disbelief. The key is in your tongue. The spoken word charged with faith unlocks it. You are not begging, nor are you striving. You are commanding, and to command rightly, you must see yourself as heir to the storehouse of the universe. The riches of heaven are not stored away from you. They are stored up for you, awaiting your recognition. You may ask, but how shall this come? By what channel? Through what person? That is not your concern. The channel is many, the source is one. If you look to a single person or a single path, you limit the infinite. Release all anxiety about the how. Your task is the decree. The infinite mind arranges the way. To command your first million is to master the inner conversation. It is to cancel every idle word of fear, every jest of poverty, every complaint of insufficiency. It is to replace them with affirmations of wealth, songs of gratitude, visions of overflowing good. What you dare to command with faith, you will behold in form. Life does not answer to hesitation. It answers to certainty. And certainty comes not from the evidence of the eyes, but from the conviction of the spirit. Stand, then, in the authority of your word. Declare your million, expect it. Rejoice in it as though it were already in your hand, and watch as the unseen law fulfills the command you have spoken. The spoken word is the seed of wealth. Every utterance carries with it the vibration of creation, and each vibration shapes the field of life that surrounds you. To understand this is to recognize that nothing spoken is ever idle, nothing thought is ever lost, and nothing affirmed is without consequence. The unseen law takes every word as instruction, every statement as a command, and from that command the pattern of your life unfolds. When you speak of abundance, you sow abundance. When you speak of lack, you sow lack. The ground of your subconscious accepts the word as seed, nurtures it, and produces its harvest without judgment or delay. Words are not simply sounds formed by the tongue. They are currents of energy that impress upon the invisible substance of the universe. Imagine a seed pressed into fertile soil. It does not matter if it is a seed of roses or a seed of thorns, the soil will receive it and produce according to its kind. The same is true of your speech. Every complaint, every word of gratitude, every declaration of success or failure is a seed that must grow after its own nature. When you realize this, the casual word ceases to be casual. The idle phrase ceases to be idle, and every syllable becomes an instrument of creation. To command your first million, you must treat speech as the tool it truly is, a tool of mastery. If you would plant a garden of wealth, you cannot scatter seeds of poverty. Words of doubt, fear, worry, or limitation act like weeds, choking the tender shoots of prosperity before they rise. Guard the gate of your lips as you would guard the treasury of a king. Speak only that which you desire to see manifest. Replace every careless utterance with a deliberate decree. Say not, I cannot afford this, for the law will echo back with confirmation. Instead, declare, all that I need is supplied in perfect ways. When this becomes the habit of your speech, the harvest cannot fail. Your words do not merely describe your world, they create it. To say, money comes easily and in abundance, is not to lie or to deceive yourself, but to plant the seed of ease and abundance in the soil of the unseen. That seed, watered by faith and expectation, must push through into form. To declare, I am always lacking, nothing ever works for me, is to command the soil to bring forth lack and disappointment. The harvest is impartial. It yields to the kind of seed sown. Your fortune begins in your phrases, your riches are born in your affirmations, and your million awaits the command of your voice. Observe those who prosper. They speak in terms of increase, even in times of trial. They affirm that doors are opening, opportunities are coming, supply is certain. Their speech is aligned with their vision, and that alignment draws to them the means of its fulfillment. Contrast this with those who remain bound by want. Their words betray their inner poverty. They speak of what they cannot do, what they cannot have, how hard the world is, how little there is to go around. These words reinforce their condition, planting seed after seed of scarcity until the harvest overflows with lack. The spoken word, when joined with imagination, becomes irresistible. To say, I am wealthy, while seeing yourself as poor is to sow two kinds of seed, one of wealth and one of lack, and the harvest will be confusion. But when the vision within agrees with the word without, the soil of the subconscious magnifies the power of the seed. Picture the wealth you desire. See the accounts filled, the opportunities flowing, the life of freedom unfolding. Then affirm it aloud with conviction. This is mine, here and now, by divine right. This agreement between word and image charges the seed with life, compelling it to bear fruit quickly. Words spoken in faith have creative authority because they bypass doubt. Faith is the warmth that causes the seed to germinate. Without faith, words fall lifeless to the ground, but with faith, even the smallest declaration becomes a mighty command. The universe does not respond to half-hearted utterances, but to words charged with certainty. To say timidly, I hope I might succeed, plants nothing of value. To say with power, I succeed, I prosper, I command my million, is to release a decree that the law cannot deny. The harvest may not appear in a day, but it is set in motion with that command. Consider the child who learns language. At first, words are simple, yet each word brings forth experience. The child says, mother, and the mother appears. The child says, food, and the food is brought. The child learns that words call things into being. Yet as one grows, this truth is forgotten, and speech becomes careless. But the law has not changed. Words still call forth reality. The difference is that the adult, blind to the power of their speech, calls forth trouble, lack, and disappointment by repeating them daily. To reclaim the authority of the spoken word is to return to that original power, where every utterance draws forth the thing it names. The seed of wealth, once planted in word, grows according to its own design. You do not need to dig it up each day to see if it has sprouted. You need only continue speaking in alignment with it, watering it with gratitude, nourishing it with faith, shielding it from the weeds of contradiction. The careless remark, the jest about being broke, the sigh of despair, all these act like stones and thorns to the growing seed. Guard against them as you would guard against pests in a garden. If one slips through, uproot it immediately by speaking a stronger word of truth. I am rich in all ways, my supply is endless, I command and receive my million. The spoken word is not bound by time. A declaration made today may not bear fruit until tomorrow, yet it is never lost. Just as a seed may lie dormant through a season before bursting forth, so your words may wait until conditions align for their manifestation. This is why persistence in speech is vital. To declare once and then contradict 100 times is to scatter seeds in every direction, producing little or nothing. But to declare daily, hourly, with unwavering certainty, is to plant a field so abundant that no season can pass without harvest. You already live among the fruits of your past words. Look around and you will see the evidence. The conditions you experience today are the outgrowth of seeds sown yesterday, perhaps long forgotten. If you wish to change the harvest, you must change the seed. Do not despair at the weeds that have grown, for new words planted now will bring a new crop in due time. Begin with the affirmation of wealth, the constant reminder that abundance is your rightful state. Every time you speak of riches, you cast seed into the soil of tomorrow. Every time you declare success, you build the structure of your future. The million you desire is already forming, responding to the seed of your word. Command, don't beg. Authority attracts abundance. The difference between a beggar and a commander is not circumstance, but consciousness. The beggar approaches life as if supply lies outside of him, pleading with the world, with people, even with fate itself to release a portion of good. He believes himself powerless, at the mercy of chance or the will of others. The commander, however, understands that supply flows through him, not to him. He does not plead, for he knows that the law of abundance is impartial and ever-present, waiting only for a clear directive. To command is to recognize yourself as heir to infinite riches, to take your rightful place as one who speaks with authority, expecting obedience from the unseen forces that govern manifestation. To beg is to affirm lack. Each time you plead, you declare that you do not already possess, that you are separated from your good, that you are undeserving of it, until something outside grants it. The very act of begging places you in a posture of deficiency, and the law, always obedient to your word, mirrors that deficiency in form. But to command is to affirm possession, to recognize that what you desire already exists in the invisible and must reveal itself in the visible. The commander does not plead for money, opportunities, or favor. He speaks the word, claiming them as his own, and then moves as though they are already present. Authority is the magnet that draws abundance. Imagine a sovereign ruler who speaks a decree. The subjects do not question, they act. The decree does not waver, it does not beg, it does not plead, it commands. The unseen law responds to you in the same way. If you speak weakly, doubtingly, as though unworthy of being heard, your decree has no force. But if you speak with certainty, with the calm authority of one who knows, the law hastens to obey. The universe itself bends to the voice of authority. Wealth rushes to meet the one who declares it as his own, while it avoids the one who supplicates, as though it were a favor to be granted. To command rightly, you must first command yourself. The inner voice of doubt, the subtle whisper that says, "You cannot," or "You are unworthy," must be silenced by the stronger voice of truth. Authority begins within. Speak to yourself as a ruler would speak to his subject. I am wealthy, I am powerful, I am divinely supplied. I am always provided for. Each affirmation disciplines the inner realm, training the mind to obey the higher decree. Once the inner world bows to command, the outer world follows in perfect reflection. The beggar asks, "Will this be given to me?" The commander declares, "It is mine." The beggar waits for permission, the commander issues the order. The beggar hopes, the commander expects. These differences may seem small, but they create entire worlds apart. When you hope, you leave space for disappointment. When you expect, you claim inevitability. Hope belongs to one who doubts, expectation belongs to one who commands. Abundance gravitates toward expectation, because expectation is authority in action. You must see yourself as one who has the right to command. Authority is not arrogance, for arrogance is rooted in insecurity, trying to prove what it does not believe. True authority is quiet, steady, confident, grounded in the knowledge of divine law. A commander does not shout to convince himself, nor does he argue with others to prove his power. He simply speaks, knowing the unseen world listens. He knows that he is backed by the infinite, that his word carries weight beyond his own effort, and that what he declares must come to pass. This recognition removes struggle and replaces it with assurance. Consider the difference in posture. The beggar bends low, stretching out hands to receive, eyes lifted with longing, voice trembling with hope. The commander stands upright, shoulders square, gaze steady, hands open to receive what is already his. His voice is firm, his word is final. The beggar places power in another's hand, the commander claims the power within. Which posture do you believe draws wealth? Which posture does the law of supply obey? Always the one who commands, never the one who begs. Authority attracts abundance because it aligns with the truth of the universe. The infinite source of all supply does not withhold, does not ration, does not discriminate. It is ever giving, ever flowing, seeking only the channel through which it may express. The beggar blocks the channel by affirming separation and insufficiency. The commander opens the channel by affirming possession and sufficiency. The law moves swiftly through the open channel. Abundance pours in where authority has spoken. Every time you ask with desperation, you delay your good. Every time you speak with command, you hasten it. Notice your own words. Are you pleading with life? Do you say, "I wish I had money," or "I hope things work out"? These are the phrases of the beggar. Replace them with, "I have more than enough. Everything works in my favor. My million comes quickly and perfectly." These are the declarations of the commander. Speak them until they become your natural language, until your very tone carries authority. Authority also attracts because it inspires action. A beggar waits passively, hoping something will be handed to him. A commander moves confidently, knowing the way will open as he steps forward. He does not wait for evidence before acting, his action is evidence of his faith. Because he moves with authority, doors open, people respond, opportunities gather. The very air around him vibrates with expectancy, and life cannot help but meet him with abundance. Think of a stage. Two voices call from it. One voice is trembling, pleading for help, uncertain if anyone will listen. The other voice is firm, clear, commanding, as though it already knows the audience will respond. Which voice do you follow? Which voice moves you to act? Life itself responds in the same way. Weak words drift unheard, while words of command move forces seen and unseen into motion. Authority attracts abundance, because authority is aligned with the truth that you are not separate from the source of all wealth. To beg is to say, "I am apart from it." To command is to say, "I am one with it." The beggar prays to a distant power, while the commander speaks as the channel of that power. The beggar waits for an answer, the commander declares the answer already given. This recognition collapses delay, for nothing needs to travel from outside, it flows from within, through the command you issue. Your million is not waiting for you to beg. It is waiting for you to command. Not with arrogance, not with doubt, but with calm. Steady authority that knows. To command is to speak as if it were already done, to act as though it were already yours, to carry yourself as the one to whom abundance naturally belongs. Authority attracts, authority multiplies, authority manifests. The spoken decree becomes the living reality, for the law obeys the tone of command. Focus on vision, not limitation. The mind is a stage upon which the drama of life is written, rehearsed, and performed. What you behold within, you eventually hold without. To focus on limitation is to magnify chains, to see walls where there are doors, to blind yourself to the riches that stand ready at your command. To focus on vision is to lift the inner sight beyond the present appearance, to behold the life you desire as though it already stood before you. The inner eye directs the outer world, and the law responds faithfully to the image you hold most persistently. If you fill your vision with lack, you reproduce lack. If you fill it with abundance, you reproduce abundance. Limitation whispers constantly, reminding you of what seems impossible, of what you do not yet see, of what others have failed to achieve. These whispers are illusions born of fear, and fear is nothing but faith inverted. Faith in failure instead of success. Every moment you focus on limitation, you feed fear, and fear grows strong enough to block the doorway of opportunity. Vision, however, dissolves fear. When you picture clearly the result you seek, when you hold it steadily despite appearances, you strengthen faith, and faith acts as the magnet that draws conditions into alignment. The image is the mold into which the unseen substance flows. Hold the mold of limitation, and you receive limitation. Hold the mold of vision and you receive fulfillment. Consider a sculptor standing before a block of marble. He does not stare at the stone in despair, lamenting its hardness or its weight. He holds instead the vision of the figure hidden within. The chisel in his hand moves according to the image in his mind. To one without vision, the block is only stone, impenetrable and stubborn. To the sculptor, the block is the very material of beauty, waiting to reveal what he already sees inside. Life is no different. To the one who focuses on limitation, circumstances appear immovable. To the one who focuses on vision, those same circumstances become the raw material of success, shaped according to the inner image. Vision is not fantasy, for fantasy is an idle daydream without conviction. Vision is a living picture charged with faith, held with determination, spoken with authority, and acted upon as though it were already reality. When you see your million with the eyes of vision, you no longer ask whether it is possible. You see it as inevitable. You feel its weight, you hear its movement, you sense its presence. The outer world may still show emptiness, but the inner world is already full, and it is only a matter of time before the fullness of the unseen pushes into the seen. Limitation disguises itself as logic, reason, practicality, and caution. It will say, "You do not have enough education, enough connections, enough resources, enough experience." It will point to the failures of the past, the struggles of others, the statistics of difficulty. But vision ignores such voices. Vision listens only to the inner certainty that what you desire is already yours. Vision refuses to measure itself by the yardstick of limitation, for vision knows that the unseen source is infinite and unlimited. To focus on limitation is to be imprisoned by appearances. To focus on vision is to walk free of appearances, guided by the greater law that shapes circumstances to match the inner picture. You may find that limitation comes in the form of your own words. To say, "I cannot afford it," is to declare poverty. To say, "This is too difficult," is to declare defeat. Each of these words reinforces the vision of lack. Replace them with words that strengthen your vision. "I have all I need. Everything is working for my good. My success is assured." These affirmations are not empty phrases. They are the language of vision, painting the picture of abundance upon the canvas of the mind. Speak them until they drown out the language of limitation, until your inner dialogue reflects only the vision you choose. Vision requires discipline. The eyes of the flesh will constantly tempt you with limitation, showing you bills, debts, obstacles, rejections. The eyes of the spirit must remain fixed on the vision of wealth, opportunity, freedom, and success. Every time you are tempted to speak of lack, turn your thought to the vision of abundance. Every time you are tempted to complain of difficulty, turn your thought to the vision of victory. This discipline strengthens the image within until it becomes more real to you than what you see around you. When the inner becomes more real than the outer must change to reflect the inner. Great achievements have always been born of vision, never of limitation. The inventor who created light did not dwell on the darkness. The explorer who crossed unknown seas did not focus on the dangers of storms, but on the land he sought. The builder of cities did not despair over empty fields, but envisioned streets, buildings, and bustling crowds where none yet existed. The same law applies to wealth, success, and freedom. You cannot command your first million while staring at an empty purse. You must hold the vision of abundance so firmly that the empty purse becomes invisible, a temporary shadow soon to be filled with the substance of your decree. Vision draws to itself the means of fulfillment. When you see clearly, you begin to act in harmony with the vision. Ideas come, doors open, people appear, opportunities align. These do not come by chance. They are summoned by the magnetism of vision. Limitation repels them, for when you focus on obstacles, you radiate defeat, and life reflects it back. Vision attracts them, for when you focus on success, you radiate confidence, and life rushes to confirm it. The law is impartial, responding only to the image you hold most strongly. If your vision wavers, your results waver. If you alternate between focusing on wealth and focusing on lack, You create a divided harvest, a field where roses and thorns grow together. You must choose one vision and hold it steadfastly, refusing to be swayed by appearances. The farmer who plants wheat does not expect weeds simply because weeds once grew in the field. He knows that the seed determines the harvest. Likewise, once you plant the seed of vision, you need not fear the weeds of limitation. Hold fast to the image, water it with faith, shield it from doubt, and the harvest must appear. Focus is power. To scatter thought among limitations is to weaken your force. To concentrate thought upon vision is to magnify it. When a magnifying glass focuses the sun's rays, it generates fire. When the mind focuses the rays of thought upon a single vision, it generates manifestation. Every distraction, every fear, every complaint disperses your power. Every affirmation, every image, every declaration concentrates it. To command your million, you must focus the light of your mind upon the vision of wealth, until it burns through every appearance of limitation. What you see inwardly determines what you experience outwardly. If you see only limitation, you will stumble against it at every step. If you see only vision, you will walk paths that others cannot perceive, doors will open where others see walls, and opportunities will appear where others see only emptiness. The power is not in the outer world but in the inner sight. The outer world reflects like a mirror, showing back to you the picture you hold most clearly within. To change the reflection, you must change the vision. To change the harvest, you must change the seed. Supply is infinite, channels are many. The great mistake of human thought is to confuse the channel with the source. People imagine their income is their job, their wealth is their business, their support is a person, their provision is a system. When one channel dries up, they despair, believing their supply is gone. But the source is never gone, for the source is infinite. The channel is only one path through which the infinite expresses itself. If one channel closes, another opens, for the supply itself cannot be exhausted. It is boundless, eternal, ever-flowing, and it seeks expression through countless avenues. To believe supply is limited is to bind yourself in chains of fear. You watch one channel closely, guarding it anxiously, afraid it might fail you. In your fear, you hold too tightly, and the very grip blocks the flow. But when you release the belief that supply must come through one way, you open yourself to the countless ways the infinite can deliver your good. Money may come through business, through gifts, through opportunities, through ideas, through sudden inspiration, through unexpected favor. There is no shortage of ways, only a shortage of belief. The one who knows supply is infinite never worries about the channel, for he trusts the source. The river does not worry if one branch dries up, for the ocean feeds it from depths that cannot be emptied. Likewise, your good comes not from a single stream, but from an ocean without end. The mistake of most is to think, this is my only chance, this is my only way. This person is my only hope. They tie themselves to the channel and forget the source. When that channel shifts, they believe all is lost. But the truth is that the source is infinite, and the law of supply cannot be exhausted. To focus on the channel is to live in fear. To focus on the source is to live in freedom. Your million does not depend on one employer, one contract, one idea, or one connection. It depends on the recognition that abundance is everywhere, waiting to flow through whichever channels are open. When one door closes, the fearful cry, "It is the end." The faithful declare, "This means a greater door is opening." For they know the law never stops, it simply redirects. Infinite supply is like light. It shines everywhere at once. You cannot block it, you cannot limit it, you cannot exhaust it. At most, you can close your eyes and refuse to see it, but it still shines, waiting for you to open your vision. Scarcity is an illusion born of attachment to a single channel. A farmer may think his field is the only place food can grow, but the earth holds endless fields, and the sun shines on them all. The fisherman may think his net is the only means of provision, but the sea teems with life beyond measure. The worker may think his paycheck is the only flow of supply, but the universe holds treasures, opportunities, and ideas uncountable. To cling to one channel is to shrink the infinite into the narrowest form. To trust the source is to expand into endless possibility. Consider the one who panics when he loses his job. He believes his supply has ended because the channel he depended on has closed. Yet how often do such losses lead to greater opportunities, new businesses, richer income streams? The apparent loss was never loss of supply, only the closing of one channel to make way for a better one. The universe is fluid, it never runs dry. It reshapes, redirects, reflows. The one who trusts in infinite supply welcomes change. For he knows every shift is the movement of the law, leading him to greater good. The channels are many, and often they appear where least expected. A word spoken in passing opens a door. A meeting by chance becomes the link to fortune. An idea in a moment of stillness blossoms into a stream of wealth. These are not accidents, they are the countless channels through which supply expresses itself. When you cling only to the expected, you blind yourself to the unexpected. To walk in abundance, you must stay open, knowing that supply can come from anywhere, through anyone, at any time. The mind trained in limitation resists this truth. It says, I do not see how it can happen. I do not know anyone who could provide. I do not see the way. But the way is not yours to see in advance. The source is infinite, and its wisdom is higher than your reasoning. Your part is not to dictate the channel, but to declare the supply and trust that the law will choose the perfect path. When you fix your faith on one path only, you may miss the greater path opening beside it. To trust the infinite is to release control of the how, and rejoice in the certainty of the what. Supply is infinite not only in money but in ideas, in energy, in creativity, in health, in joy. Every form of wealth flows from the same endless source. If one avenue of wealth seems blocked, another is already forming. If one business fails, another rises. If one plan falters, a greater plan emerges. The infinite cannot be contained by a single structure. It always overflows, always multiplies, always renews. You need only attune yourself to its presence, and you will see channels open where you thought none existed. Think of air. You do not fear that you might take the last breath and leave none for others. You trust that the atmosphere holds more than enough for all. Supply is like air, boundless and available to all. When you breathe it in with confidence, it fills you. When you hold your breath in fear, you suffocate. In the same way, when you trust the infinite supply, you are filled. When you fear that it is limited, you cut yourself off from its flow. The law is simple: release fear, embrace trust, and the channels open wide. The channels are many because the source delights in variety. Just as a tree does not grow only one leaf but thousands, life does not provide through one channel but through countless. Some leaves fall, others grow, but the tree remains full, so it is with your supply. One income stream may fade, but others rise to take its place. One idea may fail, but another springs forth richer than before. One person may leave, but others arrive carrying gifts greater than you imagined. The infinite expresses itself in diversity, ensuring that no single channel ever holds your destiny. To focus on infinite supply is to live free of fear. You no longer cling desperately to one job, one deal, one person, believing it to be your lifeline. You see instead that all of life is your lifeline, that the infinite cannot fail, and that channels are abundant beyond number. This freedom gives you courage to act boldly, for you know that even if one attempt fails, the source remains, ready to flow through new ways. Fear paralyzes, trust liberates. The one who trusts infinite supply walks forward unafraid, confident that provision follows every step. Your million, then, is not trapped in a single path. It is already present in the infinite, ready to manifest through whichever channels you allow. If you demand it come one way, you may block the greater way. If you release control, you open yourself to endless ways. The law always provides. The source never fails, the channels never end. Supply is infinite, channels are many. Certainty manifests, hesitation delays. The law of creation responds to the vibration of confidence, not the trembling of doubt. When you move with certainty, the unseen forces align swiftly. Doors open, paths clear, and opportunities hasten to appear. Certainty is the seal upon the decree, the invisible authority that compels manifestation. Hesitation, however, clouds the signal, confuses the command, and postpones the fulfillment of your word. The universe does not respond to indecision. It waits until the order is clear. When the mind wavers between faith and fear, the result wavers too, and what could have been immediate becomes delayed, scattered, or even lost. Certainty is the recognition that what you command is already yours in the unseen, waiting only for its proper expression in the visible. It is not stubborn hope, it is not blind wishing, it is knowledge. To walk in certainty is to walk as though the million you declared is already in your hand, as though the success you envisioned is already surrounding you, as though the abundance you affirmed is already flowing. This posture of mind creates magnetic power. Life reflects back to you the confidence you project, for the law always returns what you send. When you radiate certainty, you attract certainty. When you radiate hesitation, you attract delay. Hesitation is born of divided thought. One moment you say, "It is mine," and the next moment you wonder, "But what if it does not come?" Each contradiction cancels the decree. Planting both wheat and weeds in the same field, the harvest then becomes mixed, confused, delayed. To eradicate hesitation, you must discipline the inner conversation, allowing no word of doubt to take root. Replace every "what if it fails" with "cannot fail." Replace every "I hope" with "I know." Replace every "someday" with "no." Certainty speaks in the present tense, for it knows that in the realm of spirit, all is accomplished already. The one who hesitates waits for signs before moving, but the one who is certain moves first, and the signs follow. Faith does not wait for evidence, it produces evidence. When you act as though your command is already fulfilled, the law rushes to confirm your act. Hesitation, however, holds back, analyzing, doubting, calculating, seeking reassurance. This delays the movement of the law, for the law mirrors the state of your belief. If you hesitate, the law hesitates. If you stand firm, the law moves swiftly. Certainty is not arrogance, it is alignment. Arrogance insists on its own power alone, but certainty rests in the power of the unseen law. It knows that the spoken word, once charged with faith, must manifest. It does not demand by force, it declares by authority. The quiet assurance of certainty is stronger than the loudest cry of doubt. The one who speaks calmly, firmly, with the tone of inevitability, commands greater power than the one who shouts from fear. The universe reads vibration, not volume. Consider the traveler who stands at a crossroads. Hesitation keeps him rooted in place, weighing each path, fearing to make the wrong step. He remains unmoved, and so nothing unfolds for him. The certain traveler chooses his direction, steps forward, and the path reveals itself as he walks. Doors that were invisible open, resources that were hidden emerge, helpers appear. His certainty activates the journey. His movement proves his belief. Where hesitation delays, certainty accelerates. Certainty transforms obstacles into stepping stones. The hesitant one sees a barrier and doubts, wondering if he should turn back. The certain one declares, "This too serves my good," and the barrier becomes the very material of his success. Certainty carries a vibration that bends conditions, reshaping what looks like defeat into triumph. Hesitation magnifies problems, but certainty dissolves them, for certainty is rooted in the knowledge that the outcome is already secured. Every thought of hesitation is a leak in the vessel of manifestation. Imagine filling a jar with water. If the jar is cracked with hesitation, the water seeps out and the vessel never fills. Certainty seals the cracks, allowing the jar to overflow. Each word of doubt, each fearful imagination, each moment of indecision drains power from your decree. Each word of certainty, each confident image, each bold action multiplies power. The law is exact, you receive according to your belief. If your belief is certain, your manifestation is swift. If your belief hesitates, your manifestation waits. Hesitation also paralyzes action. The hesitant mind asks endlessly, "What if I fail? What if I lose? What if this is not the right time?" And so no action is taken, no seed is planted, no door is knocked upon. The certain mind acts. knowing that even if one step seems imperfect, the law will use it as part of the perfect unfolding. Certainty does not wait for flawless conditions. It moves and allows perfection to arise from movement. Delay in action is delay in results. Certainty moves boldly, and results move boldly in return. Certainty is contagious. Others feel it, trust it, and respond to it. Opportunities are attracted to those who radiate assurance. People support those who walk with confidence. Circumstances bend toward those who refuse to waver. Hesitation repels, for it signals weakness and fear. Certainty attracts, for it signals strength and success. The world does not rally behind the one who doubts, but it eagerly follows the one who knows. Your certainty becomes the anchor that draws allies, partners, clients, and helpers into your orbit. Certainty requires practice, for the mind is often trained in hesitation. You may have been taught to wait, to doubt, to fear disappointment. But certainty grows with use. Each time you declare a thing and hold to it unwaveringly, and then see it manifest, your certainty strengthens. Small demonstrations lead to greater ones. Just as muscles grow through repeated exercise, certainty grows through repeated command. Begin with affirmations you can easily believe, then expand to larger declarations. With each fulfilled decree, your hesitation fades, and certainty becomes your natural state. To cultivate certainty, live as though your good is already present. Walk as though wealth surrounds you. Speak as though success is assured. Carry yourself as one who already possesses. This posture of being transmits a signal of certainty that draws manifestation quickly. Hesitation speaks in the future tense. I will have, I will be, I will do. Certainty speaks in the present tense. I am, I have, it is. The law always matches the tense of your belief. If you place your good in the future, it remains there. If you claim it now, it appears now. Hesitation weakens imagination. The hesitant mind cannot hold a picture steadily, for doubt interrupts the image, clouding it with fear. The certain mind paints the vision boldly and holds it unwaveringly. This steady vision becomes the mold into which the unseen substance flows. Just as a builder cannot raise a structure on shifting plans, the law cannot manifest clearly on shifting thoughts. Certainty fixes the plan. Hesitation erases it. Certainty builds, hesitation delays the foundation. Certainty is not the denial of obstacles, it is the refusal to be ruled by them. You may see challenges, but you declare, they are overcome. You may see delays, but you affirm, they are temporary. You may see difficulties, but you know, they are stepping stones. Hesitation magnifies the problem, certainty magnifies the solution. The same condition can defeat the hesitant or elevate the certain, depending only on the stance of mind. The truth is that life itself responds more swiftly to certainty than to hesitation, because certainty is alignment with law. The law of supply. The law of command, the law of manifestation. These do not falter, they do not waver, they do not hesitate. When you hesitate, you step out of rhythm with the law. When you are certain, you move in harmony with it. Harmony produces speed, discord produces delay. The certainty of your word tunes you to the certainty of universal law, and in that resonance, manifestation becomes inevitable. Your million is not delayed by conditions outside you, it is delayed only by hesitation within you. The moment you declare with certainty and refuse to withdraw, the process begins. The moment you waver, the process pauses. The moment you stand firm again, the process resumes. The law does not punish or reward, it reflects. When you hesitate, it reflects hesitation. When you are certain, it reflects certainty. The choice lies always in your thought, your word, your vibration.